Hey guys, it's Mouthy Pants. This is gonna be kind of like a different video that I usually make. Um, it's about Book of Travels for sure. I just can't seem to play it right now. There's just a lot of stuff going on with it, and some of the issues that I have found and reported on still haven't really, I don't know, made it, or maybe they just don't see it as super important. So, this is just kind of, I don't know, somewhat of an apology, I guess. I haven't made a video for a Book of Travels in probably, looks like it's been about 2 weeks. Um, there have been patches that have come out. There have been a few minor updates to the way the game has been played, and I I just can't play it right now. It's just the game is just like kind of broken still, and I understand that it's early access. I totally get it. Um, but I do remember, I don't know. I've been keeping up with the Discord. I've been keeping up with the updates that they release on Steam um, before the game even came out. I've had a lot of resources uh, to get my information from, and I've been staying informed for the most part, as well as I can. The biggest problem that I have seen so far in Book of Travels is that when they fix one thing, something else bad happens, something else wrong happens. And for me, currently, the game is. It's not that it's unplayable, it's playable. It's totally playable. It's just that it's got this. There's like the romantic idea of the game, and then there is the actual gameplay. Um, it's a beautiful game. The music is wonderful. Uh, the voice acting is wonderful. If you know the crew well enough, and if you've seen enough of their videos, you can actually almost like tell like whose voice is whose. And I won't put out names of whose voice actor is who. I mean, I'm just saying like you can kind of tell whose voice is who when they have like a little clip of like a voice of like a person saying something, and it's kind of cool to like know them that well, or to feel like you know them that well. Uh, but anyways, it's visually it's great, and the graphics are wonderful. The way that they got their, or the, like, from the their inspirations, I should say, that they got from particular artists, super cool. And you know, I I love the game. I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm not saying that I'm never gonna play it ever again. I'm also not saying I'm not gonna do videos for the game. Um, I just can't make. I just can't bring myself to make a video for Book of Travels this week. I haven't played it. I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't played Book of Travels in probably 2 weeks. Um, the last time I made the video, I I played it just so that I could make a couple clips, uh, just so that I could kind of keep it relevant when I was talking about the patch notes. But even then, I mean, I hadn't really played Book of Travels seriously for probably a week before that, and it's mostly because, like I said, like there's like this romanticized idea of the game, and how nice it is, and how pretty it is, and how beautiful it is. But once you get to like the real nitty gritty of it, and when you really start trying to like do like missions, not missions, but like when you're trying to like, you know, travel and walk around and do certain endeavors and stuff like that, it's very broken. Um, it's super broken, and it's really hard to play a game like this in this state. Uh, for example, if my fiance and I are playing and we want to, you know, say go on like some travel from, you know, uh, from like Batsaha to anywhere, you still need to wait for the boat. You need to get on the boat if you can even still click on the boat to get on there. Then you either crash still, or you get to Batsaha, and then you still need to log out and log back in. And this has been going on since the game first released. And the problem is that this is something that even in the patch notes they said they were going to be fixing. And it's not. It's not finished. And I'm not saying that anybody in Book of Travels is maybe not taking their sweet time on all this. I'm not saying that people aren't trying to fix the issues. But I just don't think that there is much of a hurry to do it. I don't think that they have a sense of it's not that they don't want to fix their game. It's just that the way that they're going about fixing their game is pretty slow, and if they continue to do it in a very slow way, they're gonna lose their game. And that's just the unfortunate truth. You know, there's a lot of competition out there right now for games. And especially multiplayer games. And I know that they call this like a TMO, which is super revolutionary. Like, there's not many multiplayer games that are purposefully small. And you know, it's cool. I think that's a really cool idea. But if you're going to implement only 7 people on a server, then you need to take into account that the people that want to play together might be in bigger groups than 7. They might be just in a group of 2. I mean, you don't really know what your player base is going to be until at least a year. And they have 2 years. They've got 2 years to fix everything. And I hope that they do, really. Because, like I said, I do love this game. I do love Book of Travels. I just can't play it right now. I think some of the most game-breaking things for me, too, are, like, the sound bites. You know, like, where people are just stuck talking over and over and over again with the same, I think they call it a poem, but you know, it's the same thing over and over again. It's the same sound repeated, and they're trying to create an immersive world, but that completely takes me out of immersion, 100%. There's nothing that breaks your immersion more than repeated sounds, especially for the player base that's playing Book of Travels. You know, the people that are playing Book of Travels, if you have found, if you have found the game Book of Travels, um, it means that you are looking for some sort of open world game that is small, and um, you're looking for an artistic game. You're looking for an immersive game. You're looking for um, a beautiful world to get lost in. And you can get lost in that game for a little while. And, you know, it can be... You could be playing that game for almost 100 hours before you really start to kind of see the glitches in it. And the bugs. And just the overall unfinished piece. It's just so frustrating. I remember watching them on Twitch. I remember watching them on their YouTube specials, talking and doing interviews, and they're super excited about releasing the game and all that. And you know, they one of the developers was talking about how, and this was actually after they had pushed the game back. They pushed the game back a couple times, but this was one of the last times that they had pushed the game back, and it was because the game was currently unplayable. And they didn't want people to get frustrated because they themselves were already frustrated with the game. They had listed a few things that were pretty game-breaking. And they had said, you know, they were devoted to fixing those things before they released the game. I don't think that they actually fixed those 100% because some of those things still happen. You know, rubber banding is still a thing. You can still lose your items within your bags. That's still a thing. There's still issues where when you go into storage box and you're putting certain things in the inventory, like your trade goods, you put them in there and you take them out, or you put them in there, you close the inventory and you look back in there and they're all gone. And then you log out, because currently that's the only way to fix anything, is logging out and logging back in. And let me tell you, when something is that broken that you have to log out of the game and log back in hopes that it resets, I can't keep doing that. I just can't. It's heartbreaking. I want to play the game, and I want to just waste so many hours playing this game. You know, discovering new things, finding new stuff, you know, picking up new things, getting super rich in trade value, you know, all the stuff that, you know, makes the game really fun. You know, because there are a couple end game factors in the game that you, if you're really paying attention and you're really trying to figure out like what you could be doing, at least before the new actual content like patch comes out, there's tons of stuff to do. It's just, are you willing to get through all of the bugs that it takes to actually get through it? Because let me tell you, I'm not. I'm really not. If you've watched any of my other videos, you will know that my character is cursed. He's been cursed for, oh gosh, upwards of a month maybe. Not complaining. I think it's a really cool part of the story. I think it's a really cool part of the game. I think it's, I love the fact that that there's some punishment in the game, you know, because it plays to that old RPG style game type. And you know, people love that. I love it. It's great. But when, okay, this is, it's not exactly like super spoilery. It's, this game has been out for a while now, so I'm not even considering this a spoiler. But this curse is acquired through buying a certain ring. And when you buy the ring, the ring looks like it's a great deal. You buy it from this one-eyed merchant during the merchant event that is on, I believe, Saturdays. I'd have to look it up again. I can't remember if it's Saturdays, Fridays. But there's always this merchant, and he's always by himself, and he's selling a ring that looks amazing. It's like +1 to all stats, and it's super cheap. I mean, obviously, it's a trick, you know, by the game, because this guy's trying to, in the story, the guy is trying to get rid of this ring, because he's probably cursed. But you know, so you buy the ring, and the moment that you buy the ring, you're cursed. You get this little icon above your screen, on the top of your screen, and it's a pretty bad curse. It gets rid of it basically adds to your burden, and it's -1 to all of your stats. I think it's 10. I think it's 10 burden. It might be more than that. I'd have to look it up again. Again, I haven't played Book of Travels, like I said, in about 2 weeks. But my fiance and I both got this curse, and we tried to get rid of it for weeks. I'm telling you, weeks. And we got everything almost. The problem is that there are a few items that are broken. So, okay, so you need to get an urn from ghosts. So you have to kill a bunch of ghosts. That's easy enough. You have to get a wolf fang. Easy enough. There's wolves in the jade urn, and you can either kill them for their fangs, or you can get buy them, I think, from a wolf with pet charms or something. I can't remember how you can buy them, but you can. You need, and then the other 2 items, one of the items is you need a willow nut. Now, a willow nut is something that is gathered, and you can only find them in a couple areas. I believe that they're in the western area. Kuro Orchard, I believe, is where you find those. Now, the problem with these willow nuts, and I'm sure this is at least partially intentional, but the willow nuts expire, and they don't expire like you would think. They don't have an expiration date. They don't have any sort of timer on them. Like, visually, you wouldn't know. But if you leave that server and you go on to another server, those willow nuts will disappear from your inventory. I've tried to keep in touch on Discord and see if people have been able to get around this. Nobody's been able to get around it. I'm assuming that they did that because they know that people are going to be server hopping to try to get this mission finished. But what is the point of that? Is the point that they don't want, they just want it to be harder for you? Like, is it supposed to be that hardcore of a game that you find a willow nut and then it disappears, so you have to go on to another server? Because if you're trying to make a game immersive, I get it, but that has nothing to do with immersion. That's basically just bad code. And if they're trying to make it just because, you know, like, oh, well, we don't want people to be able to, you know, just keep server hopping and getting all these willow nuts. Okay. But you have to server hop, because the next ingredient, which I'll get to here in a second, is only obtainable in one way. So these willow nuts are, it's not like they're hidden or anything, but they're definitely hard to get, and you have to server hop anyways to find these on the ground. So you need to server hop to find a willow nut, and then you have to stay on that server, and either that's your last ingredient that you go to turn into the witch, or you're screwed, basically. So the fourth item that you need is a cursed stone. And if you talk to NPCs, they will tell you that in order to get a cursed stone, you have to kill a Maisu. Maisu are these creatures, mostly in the Jade Urn. They're basically like a ghost times 10. They're really, really big creatures. They're not bigger than a Ketem, but they're still pretty big. They're pretty strong. They are soloable. But if you have the curse, they're not. You're gonna have a harder time soloing them, because it's gonna take away, that curse is gonna take away 10. It's gonna add 10 burden, which is gonna make you a lot slower. So if you have to, when you go to fight them, hopefully you are prepared, is all I'm gonna say. The problem is too, is that these Maisu are bugged. So if somebody has been on that server already and has killed the 2 Maisu that are in the Jade Urn, they're basically still there sometimes, and they're just floating there and doing nothing. They'll do their little poem or whatever, and they'll talk to themselves about whatever it is that they talk about, and then it just loops again. It just keeps looping. And that's super annoying. Like, if you're trying to if you're trying to get this kind of stuff done, you're gonna have a really hard time figuring out like what to do exactly, because you're just gonna keep killing Maisu, right? And you figure, oh well, you know, as long as I kill enough, eventually a cursed stone will drop, right? Well, yes and no. Here's the problem. For over 2 to 3 weeks, my fiance and I, every single night, would log in, because here, that's another thing in the game, is that it's they want to be immersive. Great, that's fine, but the day and night cycle is relative to wherever you live and wherever the server is connected to. So if it's nighttime for you, it's gonna be nighttime in the game. If it's daytime for you, it's daytime in the game. And if you want to kill Maisu, you basically have to wait until nighttime. Now, thankfully, you know, we're both basically done working in the day, and then we're able to play at night. So, you know, you'd think, oh, well, perfect. You know, you've got all the time in the world at night, you know, to look for these Maisu. Well, that would be nice, except for you really only have access to so many servers to be able to server hop. And that's the thing where, you know, okay, you know, you want to make this immersive game, and yet you're constantly having to hop different servers so that you can see different events going on. And I think ideally, that's cool, you know? Like, maybe you go to play for the night and you've only got 3 or 4 hours to play, maybe less. And, you know, you encounter a few things, nothing crazy happens, you log out, you don't get to play for, 10 hours out of the day. You come in to the game at night again, and you go on your little adventure, and things work out, things don't work out, that's fine. But for somebody that has time to play a video game for upwards of 5 to 6 hours, maybe longer, you're gonna be server hopping. And that's where the immersion breaks, because you are never, and hopefully this gets fixed at some point, but I have never logged out and logged back into a different server and been in the same place where I was. I'm always like 20 meters away from where I was. And sometimes I'm not even on the same region. Sometimes I'm in a completely different area, and that's, I don't understand the meaning of that. I don't know why they would do that. If you're trying to be immersed, if you want to be, in this game, you want to feel like you're actually walking around in this game, and you're just looking at this character and you're imagining this awesome role play of what your character's supposed to be like and what they're supposed to do and all that stuff. It's gonna break every single time you go to a different server, because you're gonna be in a different spot. And I'm not saying that it's not fun. I mean, it could be fun for somebody, but not for me. I just want the game to work. Like I've said in my other videos, and I will probably be repeating this for a long time, but I've been waiting for this game for a very long time. And I was the type of person to tell all my friends about this game, Book of Travels. I didn't really care about any other game, because I'm not usually the type to ask people or to tell people to try a game out. I know what that entails. I know what that's all about. And not every game is for everybody. And just because your friends are like-minded doesn't mean they're going to be 100% like-minded to the point where they're going to want to play the same game as you. Some people like shooters. Some people like survival games. Some people like sports games. Some people want to race. Some people like puzzles. It's I'm just ranting here, but I'll get back to this, to what I was talking about here. So these Maisu, they drop a cursed stone. Well, the thing is that you can only get, and I just recently found this out, which actually made me pretty upset because of how many hours I put into killing Maisu with my fiance. We server hopped so much. We would constantly, we would go down to the Jaydern, plant ourselves in to one spot. We'd drink the best tea we could have. We'd put on the best armor, put on the best weapons. And this is through trial and error, by the way, because if you've ever done any sort of combat in this game, you will know that it is pretty painful. They've got a lot to work around through combat, and I understand that the game is not all about combat. The game is not meant to be in combat all the time. But if that's the case, then it should at least work. I don't even know how many times I've tried to get into combat with something and I'm just sitting there initiating a fight and nothing happens. Now, I know that they turned off permadeath, which is great, so your character can't die. And I understand that they're trying to, because currently right now the reason that they turn permadeath off is so that people don't die for no reason. They don't die from their own volition. They don't die because of exactly what I'm talking about, where you initiate a fight, nothing happens, and you just get killed. You lose a life petal, or maybe you lose your last life petal, and then you're stuck. You know, then you're basically done with that character. So we were farming for these Maisu, right? For a while, and I would say it was probably a good 2, almost 3 weeks of farming for these things. And we were never able to get this cursed stone to drop. Well, recently I found out that it's because there's only one way to get this cursed stone. It needs to be a certain event near the Jade Urn. You have to actually be doing a certain event. You have to go to one specific area and kill one specific Maisu in order for you to get this this cursed stone. Now, again, I know that they're trying to be immersive, and that, you know, there's only one way that you could get this cursed stone to relieve the curse from yourself. But how immersive is that when you can't even get to the event because the event isn't even on the server? So then what? You have to log out, log back in, and it's a rare event. Like, it's not just, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna log out and log back in, and, you know, maybe the event will be going on. No, I think I have a little over 100 hours, and I can tell you that a quarter of that is of me going from server to server looking for different areas in the Jade Urn to find Maisu. And none of those times, because every time we went into the Jade Urn, we would go into that Moonwell area where the event is supposedly supposed to be, and the only reason we went there was because we thought that Maisu would be there, but at the time we didn't even know that there was an event that was going on there that we needed to find. So even if we knew that there was only one event that we were looking for, we still wouldn't have found it. So you're either super lucky, there is no other option. You just have to be lucky. And that's the problem that I keep getting at, is that this game, I understand, you know, there's going to be people that are hearing this rant and they're going to be like, look dude, it's early access. And I get it. I totally get it. It's early access. But this is more of a heartbreak cry of somebody who has wanted to play this game for a very long time, and this was a game that I really thought that I was going to be able to sink my teeth into, and just really want to, you know, be on it all the time. And I can't. I literally cannot do it. Am I going to continue to make videos for Book of Travels? Absolutely. I will continue to do them every Tuesday. Again, I apologize. I have not made a video in 2 weeks, and 2 weeks is a very long time to not put out a video, so I'm sorry. I am really sorry. And also to Thistlestorm. So this is specifically at one viewer that somebody had commented on one of my other videos. My apologies, dude. The footage that I had for the video that you wanted me to post, I can't get it into I can't get the file to render. I'll try again just for you, dude, but currently I cannot get that video to upload, so I'll try again and see if I can get it to work, but right now I will not be able to make that video. The video that I'm talking about is somebody on one of my videos wanted me to make another video of how to find some of the not spells that allow you to transform into different creatures. And I had the video. It was all set up, ready to go, and the media changed, and so I'm having a hard time getting that to go together. So again, I'll try to figure it out and try to see what's going on with that. But currently, I hate to say it, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. The thing with Book of Travels, and I understand I'm not even level 10 yet. I think I'm level 9 in the game, and I know I haven't done everything. I'm not saying the game is finished. I'm not saying the game has nothing more to offer. It just doesn't have much to offer for me currently. And, you know, maybe when I come back to the game, if I'm still cursed, you know, great. I'll try to keep working on that. You know, that's not the discouraging part. The discouraging part is that I just can't bring myself to play a game where half the time it's just broken. You know, whether it's an endeavor, or I'm just putting a campfire down, or I'm making a tea, or I'm walking through town, or something. There's always something that just pulls me away from wanting to play the game. The initial response, and this is still the way I feel about the game. My initial response is still positive. I still 100% love the game. I just can't play it. I want to make videos on the game. I want to make videos showing you guys how to do all kinds of stuff. But the amount of editing that it's going to take for me to cut out all the buggy stuff that's in there, it's painful. It's so painful. So I'm gonna read this for you guys, just because I do want to kind of keep it at least somewhat relative, somewhat current with the game. They came out with this thing, and this was November 16th. So this was like 2 weeks ago, and I had kind of lost it from here. This was kind of one of the reasons why I stopped. Was they came out with an update on how they feel like they are going to be fixing some of these things. And it says, sometimes you need to do some firefighting. So they said after launch we discovered that some players were using fireplaces to grief other players. Since we didn't want travelers to be able to stand in the fire, they were made into solid objects that you can't walk over. So apparently there were players that were griefing other players so that they would get stuck in campfires. Now, it's not that I don't believe that this kind of stuff was happening. It's just that 7 people on an MMO and you have one troll that's trying to ruin it for everybody. I just can't imagine that somebody would pay for a game and then get into the game so far as to try to get people to get stuck somewhere. That's just so weird to me. Like I'm sure that maybe this happened like once or twice or whatever, you know, because obviously there's always somebody who's gonna want to, you know, ruin it for others. But I feel like if this is something, if this is the thing that they are trying to fix more than some of the other problems that they have with the game, then I think that the priorities are a little off. The thing is like, I guess I'm just gonna be ranting about this forever, and I could probably just continue to talk about how much I love the game and how much I've been waiting for it to come out and these patches and this patch and this patch, but I'm just gonna kind of cut the video because this is probably already just kind of drawing out like way too long. So try out Book of Travels, play the game. Is it worth the $30 in my opinion? Yeah. If you can relatively look at $30 with dinner and a movie for the weekend, and look at it as a dinner and a movie for multiple weekends over and over again, then yeah, sure, it's worth your money, it's worth the time. It's a good game. It's you know, the music is great, graphics are great, gameplay is good, puzzles are cool, story is cool, and there's great things to come. You know, you can look at their roadmap and you can see that there's a lot of stuff that they're still planning on coming out with, and it should be great. It'll be good, you know. But right now it's not in a good state, and I wish that it was, because I really just want to play the game all the time, but every single time I log in and try to play it, I just can't. I just can't do it. So, yeah. Stay tuned for next week. Tuesday as usual. I'll try to be a little bit more positive next week. I had to get it out there. I just had to talk about it in a way where I could just kind of just vent a little bit. I mean, that's kind of how I am anyways. I'm always going to be venting about something or talking in a little bit of an opinionated way, but I can't help it. I mean, it's just how I am. Love it or hate it, but that's just how it's going to be. But again, if you like this video, feel free to like it. If you want more content like this, if you want to see it on your notifications, feel free to subscribe, and you can catch me on my Twitch. I usually stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and sometimes on the weekends. And we will see you guys next week. A little bit about what's going on with me lately. I have mostly just been streaming. I haven't really been making videos. I haven't really been inspired to make anything lately. The last video I came out with and made was a book on, or not a book, but it was a video on 7 Days to Die. I had never played it before. Played it with the fiance, had a good time, and I've gotten a few requests to play it again, but that is definitely not the kind of game that I like to play all the time, so just wanting to play a horror zombie survival game is not on my top priority list, really. Very much looking forward to Final Fantasy Endwalker. That comes out in the next couple days, and I'll definitely be playing a good amount of that, and I will always be on the forefront of trying to look in to see if they come out with more updates on Book of Travels, because honestly I would love to just be playing that game if it worked. It works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying if it worked the way that it was intended to work, I would be on there all the time. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week. Yeah. Yeah, it's not supposed to do that. And look, I lost like all this levels or what? Like we were almost 10. Right? Or no. We were almost 9.